Hey guys, we're the Infamy team. We're running fantasy esports tournaments on our website, infamy.gg, so be sure to check that out. Now, today we're talking about not Valorant, since it's taking over the internet, so we're going to talk about something else. I would much rather talk about a new game that just released a beta. It's over now, so sorry you guys missed it. Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear is made by Arc Systems, probably one of the best fighting game companies out there right now. Games look amazing. They're pretty fun too. So if you guys haven't checked it out, just YouTube it. It's a lot of fun. I had the opportunity of playing it. I know the guys have seen it before. They've played like games like Z Fighters, or have you guys ever played any of the other Arc System games, or just Z Fighters?
Yeah, I've only played Dragon Ball Z.
I've played
but...
Guilty Gear in the past. I was awful at it, obviously. it seems like it takes like a lot to really be any good at it.
Yeah.
But
I am not. I am also horrendous at it. These kids have been playing this game for years, and they will dumpster on you. But you know what? It's actually a lot of fun to play. Also, it's maybe not the biggest endorsement of that game, but definitely
even when you're getting
fun.
dumpstered, you're having a great time.
Nah, I mean you'll find kids that are like new to the game too, because like they're actually advertising this game now. So like you'll actually get
advertising
some
a fighting game. That's crazy.
Yeah, right.
no one does that anymore. There's so much miscapitalization for the fighting game community. Sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I wanted to talk about today, we'll talk a little bit about the beta and like what was fun about it, but I also want to talk about the fighting industry in general and like what they could be doing to like expand into like a real esport. But because I have a feeling that Guilty Gear, because of some of the systems that they changed, they're trying to make it more marketable to a esports market.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I don't think that they're going to really be able to capitalize it as much as like a bigger IP like Super Smash Brothers or Street Fighter or anything like that. But like it's their main IP, it's their like flagship IP, so they're trying to push that into the spotlight. But couple things they changed about the game were a little weird because the first Guilty Gear was a lot faster pace. I thought a lot more in your face. Like now it's all about neutrals, and they changed a lot of the combo systems. How it was like very approachable for like new players. Even if you are getting dumpstered, it was pretty approachable for somebody like me who doesn't have like a lot of fighting game experience with how you could chain combos based on like what type of attack you used. You could chain combos in whichever position you were in that chain, and it was the same across all characters. They completely did away with that system now, so now it's like more of a hard combo system. So you have to learn every character, and I thought that was an interesting.
That's how it is now, because isn't that how general fighting games are? Each individual character kind of has their own thing.
Yeah,
but
so they all had their own gimmicks in the other Guilty Gear than XLR, but now they all have like different button mapping. Before, like you could do there was like a chain of combos where like everybody kind of did like the same thing. There were like individual moves that you had to learn, but like as far as like just your basic attacks, you can chain those into moves. So it gave you a chance as like a new player to be able to learn how to play the game, and then you can build in like special moves in those combos to like really become a good player. But like now it's all about spacing, all about like knowing your moves and how like really just your range. Because
it's weird. I feel like from fighters, I thought the lesson they would have taken from the success from that is to like kind of make it simpler for people, because they just have to like hit the same button 3 times and you'll do a combo, and this other button 3 times. So I'm surprised they made it harder.
Yeah, like now.
That's what I saw. Like the overall consensus was they tried to dumb down the game, not dumb down, or make it easier for casuals to pick up the game, and by doing that, they just in turn made it harder for them to play. They made lowering it for everyone only made the better players have the slight advantage that they needed to already.
Yeah, I kind of think that they the execution was just bad. I think that they like raised the skill floor and lowered the skill ceiling on this game a lot. Like it's really, I really don't understand why they would change this. Like I haven't like again I am not an expert on this game in any means. We also we got 2
Yeah, but what
days
makes
to
you
play
think that
the beta.
it's they're trying to gear it up to be esports ready if they're lowering the ceiling of
They're
the
trying to
potential?
get people in. They're trying to get people into their games. Like
But
they
they
had
also
such
lowered
success
the
with.
they made the, I
They
mean they raised
raised
the
the
floor,
skill floor.
so how is
Yeah,
that?
I think that's
I
just
don't. The skill floor was just an inverse reaction of them trying to lower the skill ceiling. It just happened to work like that. But from my understanding of what was happening is the Guilty Gear series only had a hardcore competitive audience, and they're trying to bring in new people because just having a competitive audience isn't going to sell games. You need to somehow attract a new
you need to
audience.
build an audience.
So they
around
built
it,
in
and
all these systems to protect new players, but the players who already understand the game can take advantage of those systems a lot easier. Is what I understand happened with this game, which isn't an unfixable problem because Guilty Gear is also ArcSys also made Dragon Ball Fighters, and they just released their season 3, which they changed their gameplay mechanics completely to circumvent a lot of the problems that high tier players were taking in their system. So I'm not going to knock ArcSys and say that they won't change these things because they are one of the companies that has shown in the past that they're willing to update their games. So everything that we're saying is subject to change. But I do think that they need to take a look at the systems that they've altered, and trying to make it easier for newer players has in turn affected everybody.
Yeah, they're pretty good at taking community feedback, and I really do think that all the maybe not backlash, but at least how vocal people are being about the changes and what they can update. Hopefully, they can actually implement some fixes before the game comes out, or if they do, at least maybe my idea was maybe reduce the amount of damage you do, so the games are a little bit longer, because I was getting dumpstered on half the time when somebody could fucking 2-tap you. I don't know how I feel about it. But
when it comes to betas, though, I feel like it's always the audience feels that it's the audience feels like, oh, this is my time to give some input before they release, so they'll change things. But I feel like most of the time it's this is pretty pre-wrapped and ready to go, and there's really not gonna much is gonna change from release unless there's horrendous feedback that results to a delay, a necessary delay into release. So I don't know.
Yeah.
No,
on the level
there
of
were a whole
Sonic,
bunch of changes
the Sonic movie.
that were.
Unless there's a Sonic movie event.
The same thing happened. The same thing happened with Dragon Ball Fighters when they released the initial beta. There was a whole bunch of complaints about things like the netcode, and they did fix them. But this is goes into
a core mechanic we're talking about, and it's just okay, I guess we gotta shift the whole combo system around. I don't know. They must have intended it to be this way for some reason.
It more harkens the earlier games, so it's not it's franchise changing or anything. They're kind of just going back to how the older games were.
To people who don't know, I'm sorry to cut you off, Blake, but to people who don't know the systems, I feel like for new players, the things that older players are complaining about, they're not even going to know existed. Thing with the breaking the corner and you put someone on a different stage, that might just be a new fighting game mechanic that give it a couple months, people are like, oh, this is actually better than keeping constant corner pressure, just taking a break from that combo. It could develop a completely new playstyle. The initial lash out is from we're used to just being able to keep people in the corner, and now that we can't, we have to circumvent that by dropping our combo and then restarting it in the corner because corner is the best thing. But maybe corner is not the best thing. I mean, I'm not the fighting game expert, but maybe in this game, corner pressure.
Well, it's weird because the Smash Ultimate released Terry, who I think is from Fatal Fury, which is a very similar game to Guilty Gear, and the stage that came with them has that mechanic where there's a wall, there's an invisible wall, and you beat someone against it until it breaks, and then they'll die. So it's how original is this?
But no, why I think that they're kind of going towards a more competitive kind of esports style of game for this one is because I feel like the gameplay focus is more on spectacle than everything. It's a very fun game to watch. So fun.
It's beautiful. I was blown away by
if anybody if anybody doesn't know this game, go look at it. It is beautiful, but it's also fun to watch because like
Yeah.
even if they don't lower the damage, like it's still like every hit counts. And like even blowing them through the wall, right? It's not fun to watch somebody get fucking rolled in a corner the whole game, right? So like that's why I think they implemented that that corner break because like they want to be able to reset and then be able to start a fight again because it's also you're gonna see more clutches in high level gameplay. So like it's gonna be a lot more entertaining to watch from a spectator side, and why I thought like like we had talked about this off camera, but we were talking about yesterday how first person shooters really have like it down to a science, right? Now, like I think that they're going to start building like standard code of conduct for like fighting games in like an esports perspective or like at least a viewership perspective, like in that type of genre, that side scroller.
Well, there's a lot of different like knobs you can turn and twist because it's just like time to kill is a thing in any game like FPS or fighter, and then there's games like I think like Samurai Showdown has like it's just like whoever gets the first hit basically wins the round, and then there's games where that actually is the case where it's just like I think flying kick or something where it's just like first hit wins.
Dive kick,
Yeah. Flying kick should be the name. But yeah, so that's just something that you can like kind of tweak and turn, and it's a fine line to be like one combo and then it's like the whole suspense is gone from the match because it's like, okay, unless this guy clutches out of his mind, which can only happen so many times, the guy who got the first amount of damage is going to win.
Yeah, and like I think that that's what they're kind of trying to separate from is like, oh, this kid is combo locked for the whole fucking game, so like now it's over. Like this gives you a lot of opportunities to kind of reset. So I think
well that's what like fighters is too, right? Where like the assists are kind of
they hold you in the corner. But what people were saying is that they'll do now is when the corner is about to break, they'll just drop the combo and then because the corner is the most advantageous thing. But
but that will also give you an opportunity to break. Like you're gonna have to stop. You know, like if you like on a high level play, you're gonna be able to fucking juggle some scrubs like me. But like if you actually know what you're doing, you're gonna be able to break out with that hesitation in that combo.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So it's not. It's like it does make it a little bit more. I think that's what they're gearing it towards, and like that's how I was looking at it when I was playing the game. Is like this is really built for like a spectator sport, and I think it's going to be a lot more interesting for viewer. Like I think they're going to do really well on YouTube if they can get some people like some personalities to actually play this game.
Yeah.
For me, like,
and I have seen. Oh, sorry, Jake, you can go.
Yeah, like I've never played Guilty Gear. Like I've only heard about it like in like Evo lineups, and then like you guys will talk about it briefly here and there. But it's like I have virtually like zero exposure to this, and like Samurai Showdown and some of these other fighting games. Like the only like for me, just like not being that familiar with a lot of FGC games is like if not in the Evo lineup, then like I don't really know about it. And it's like kind of like harping on what Blake is saying. For me, being like utter trash at fighting games, the viewer experience, if they had something where I guarantee there would be people who would be willing to buy like what Overwatch League did with like the we were talking about earlier off camera, the kind of I forget what it was called. What was it? The like
first person cam.
Yeah, you could watch like anyone's perspective. Maybe if you like gave them like $5 or $10 because you know
we want to see button map inputs.
Yeah, button map inputs, and like you're able to like slow it down.
Maybe
like,
maybe
in
not.
client.
You don't maybe not even pay for it. But I think what Jake's getting at is for like a new player, you need that. You need some kind of
like
tutorial, and like your in-depth your combo tutorials, like Dragon Ball Fighters has combo tutorials, but that doesn't teach you how to play the game. And in today's day and age, we have all these content creators and these fighting game developers need to realize that the content is out there. You should reach out to one of these content creators and have some kind of tab in your game where it's like how to play, and they do combo tutorials for all these players. You don't have to. You may not be the best player being a developer yourself, but there are people who are and who are willing, who are already doing this stuff. So you should just reach out to them.
I mean, they usually have like fighting games are unique in the fact that they have the training room. Like you can go in and like learn.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
are you
the thing,
but like, it's not going to teach you game sense, but like.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like for me, like coming into fighting games, it's like its own inherent skill. Like being able to like play an FPS game, like that's a skill you hone over years of just playing different FPS games, and they're skill sets that transfer over from game to game. Same with like I assume with fighting games. If you're like the more traditional Smash is its own on its island,
Yeah, like side scrollers.
Yeah, so it's like if there's something in client where I don't have to do extra effort to go and hunt down and be able to like, oh, maybe I could go into YouTube and like look at like a guide, but like that guide, even he might be popular, but he might not actually know. Like,
yeah, it'd be pretty cool
about.
if their YouTube channel had like a playlist of like sponsored
even
content.
that, and then you have
it's like something that just eases the thing, because there are people who just like been playing fighting games for like decades, and I'm coming in just getting destroyed on, and I don't even know what to do. It's like just
going back to what you said, Blake, like there is the training room, but the training room combos that they teach you how to do aren't even the most optimal combos. From my experience playing Dragon Ball Fighters, you'll go into the training room, they give you 10 combos for each character. Fine, completely fine. But then you'll go and watch like a YouTuber or a Twitch streamer, and it's like, oh, there's combos and then there's optimal combos. So it's like so it's like they teach you combos, but it's like this combo will save you.
How spoon-fed do you want to be? Like, you want to take out all thinking of the game of like what do you want to do? Like, but like do this here, this and there, and then you'll win. Like, okay,
my whole point is those combos that they teach you how to do, the developers teach you how to do, will actually hinder you in the game because you'll be wasting you'll be wasting a bar. Yeah, if you're wasting in a high level game, if all you know.
Think about it though, all high-level games are not going to be one-to-one. You can't map out the entire game. Like, learning what an optimal combo is based on what your enemy is doing or whatever the other player is doing is how you play these games.
I'm just talking about, when I say optimal, I'm talking about like bar usage. The combos that they give you in the training tutorials. Well,
if you want to get into
that's
that,
the whole.
This game doesn't have that. Like, it depends on the game that you're playing, right? Like, a lot of games are just like, okay, like this game, like there's like a threat meter in this game, but like also too, like juggling in games too. Like this game, they kind of took, like, I want to bring that up too because they kind of got rid of the dust in that game. They kind of got rid of it. They don't like, you used to be able to just launch people in the last game, and now they kind of got rid of that. So it's going to be like they kind of really changed how air combat works in this game. So it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be weird to see how like the pros play it, and like this one, I feel like this is going to be a lot different from a lot of other fighting games where people are just going to be your rush down type game where you're trying to close the distance and then like get your moves. Like this will be a lot more spacing and a little bit more tactical, just because you're set it, like everything resets you to neutral in this game, and it's like how is that going to play?
Yeah,
I think
they can, from what I understand of the game, I think if they just somehow make neutral resetting mandatory, I don't know if that's even possible, but it's, from what it sounds like, is they try and force the neutral reset, but you can just stop it right before it happens.
What, like breaking through the wall?
Yeah, like with the wall break, like it's like there's an animation for the wall breaking, and then like right before it fully breaks, you just drop the combo and then you keep them in the corner.
Yeah, but like it's not just that too. Like the combo change.
Maybe after a certain amount of damage.
Maybe I'm just bad and I was dropping combos a lot, but it didn't seem like you could fucking like chain combos like you were able to in the first one, or like the first one that I played at least.
Yeah. So
maybe I'm just bad.
Yeah, maybe you're just bad. Moving on to the next point, from my first thing that I noticed about the game was the lobby, and it reminded me of the Dragon Ball Fighters lobby, and then reminded me of the question, why do fighting games have lobbies? Which moves on to our next topic. The fighting game developers, they make these beautiful games with excellent mechanics, and then they just like seem to always drop the ball on the multiplayer experience. What are your guys' thoughts on?
Of course, yeah. I mean, like you look at Super Smash Brothers, or like that might just be a Nintendo problem, right? But like most people know what we're talking about when we talk about trying to play with your friends on Super Smash Brothers. Like remember on the Wii, friend codes?
What's your 16-digit number?
Yeah, what's your 16-digit number? Everything is so arbitrary of a process to go through to be able to fucking play with people. Like, why isn't there just a friends list and just like an auto join or some kind of matchmaking?
When I was looking at Guilty Gear, I literally saw the fucking lobby screen, and I was like, "Am I looking at the wrong game?" What was that? That arcade? I know you may remember this, Blake. That arcade side scroller. I think it was Xbox arcade game that we played, where it was like it was
Castle
pixel
Crashers?
art. No, it wasn't Castle Crashers. It was the with the guns.
Oh, fucking
You know what?
Broforce?
No, yeah, it was like Broforce. There was another one that you showed me, but it was like Broforce is a perfect example. I literally was like, did I click on the wrong game? Is this a Guilty Gear, or is this kid trolling like the Guilty Gear directory? I don't know what's going on, but this is literally pixels. And then I found out that's the lobby. Why? What does that have to do with Guilty Gear?
Yeah.
What is happening?
The most tragic thing about it is that like the fighting game community is like the one who want an online competitive experience like the most. Like they want a matchmaker of some kind, and every time they drop the ball, the developers drop the ball with fighting games. They're just like they left to their own devices for the most part.
Yeah, I was saying it off camera. The day a fighting game developer makes a half decent game, doesn't need to be completely beautiful, mechanically sound, makes a half decent fighting game with an excellent online system, that game will take off and become an esport. I think that's just what's holding the fighting game community back. It's so hard, even with Dragon Ball Z, Super Smash Brothers. You can't play with your boy. Like if I want to just like I think Smash would be exponentially better if I could just like match up with invite my boy to a lobby, and then we queue duos against another team of 2. Infinitely better online experience than like playing solo Smash or like playing solo Dragon Ball Z. Because like the video games at its core is
or like you have to go to like
together.
a specific lobby. I gotta send you the lobby code in a text or some other thing.
Yeah,
like, I'm gonna join that. Oh, but someone else joined and now they're in my team.
The lobby's
like,
full. The lobby's full. So now we gotta find another one.
Yeah, I think the whole ARC system thing they like is it's so appealing to developers because it's just like an opportunity to like incorporate skins and stuff like that. And it's like so my little icon guy can walk around and like so everyone can see my big E-peen because I have the coolest skin.
At the same time, you can still be in queue. If you play like a lot of these FPS games, you're waiting in queue, but you're still in the menus. You can still be in the practice range or doing whatever. Just give me a queue and just like drag me out of whatever I was doing when I'm in a game.
The ARC systems thing, like they like especially like Guilty Gear, right? They like that fucking they like that lobby. It's kind of like a community thing.
From what I'm
like,
saying,
when you go
I'm
into
seeing
the
online, is that people don't.
and then you go up, and it's like it's literally built in for like the couch co-op. Like you go up to the screen, and you gotta go up to like the console and like play the other kid like that's on the console. Like I get why they like that shit. But like it's not
adorable.
functional. Yeah, it's adorable, but at the same time, it's not functional. There's a way of doing both. There's 100% a way of doing both, and it's just like I understand why they want the lobbies too, because like how are you gonna like? All right, it's like the 4 of us want to play together, right? But it's a 1v1 game, right? Are we gonna join each other every single time? Like you want to be able to spectate.
Counterpoint: Soul Calibur. Don't know what number it was. Had the Jedis in it. Yoda was a player character.
Or 4.
Yes, there was a lobby you invite your boy to, and then there was a waiting list. And if you're on the waiting list, you're watching your boy fight whoever he's fighting.
Yeah, that's how
Smash does too with Arena.
Yeah,
but like that's how most of these things work. The most of the problem isn't with the lobby system. It's mostly about the invite system.
And
is it really the fighting game's problem when like the systems that they release these games on don't have the infrastructure to fucking like support? Like they don't have it's not like Xbox Live or PSN. Like Super Smash Brothers, you're fucking running it on a Nintendo native system that doesn't have any kind of user friendly scenario to be able to invite your friends.
That's a Switch endemic problem.
Yeah, but like at the same time,
it's because they don't want little kids playing with pedophiles. This is the whole like
that's the whole point.
Whole other problem. But
whole different problem.
Let's make it as hard as possible for the pedophiles to get them.
I would understand what you're saying, Blake. If the lobby
they just need
experience
a friends
was clean.
list. All they need is a friends list and an invite button.
Yeah, it's simple.
That's
but
all
like
they need.
I would understand your point, Blake, if the lobby system was clean, but it's not. It's not. From what I saw of the gameplay is you go up to someone and you're like trying to challenge them to a sword fight. You literally have your sword out and you're like praying that this kid also whips out his sword. And you're like, all right, is this kid gonna whip out his sword? Half the time that kid's not even in the actual lobby because he's disconnected for whatever reason, but he's still there on your screen. So now, how much time have you wasted trying to touch swords with this other kid? I don't know, man.
Oh, no.
So much pause in
Unnecessary.
that sentence. But
Well,
anyway,
then.
any final thoughts on Guilty Gear, the online fighting experience?
Oh my god, play it. When it comes out, buy it so that I can scrub you.
Yeah.
Hey, you've already admitted your shit. I don't know.
Blake-
He spent this
That's
whole
alright.
thing saying, "Oh, I was getting dumpstered. I was getting dumpstered."
No, Blake's
It's all
an
about humble brag.
underrated
Humble brag.
underrated player. You don't want those hands.
Yo,
I don't know. Find
catch
him in
me.
Mordhau
Catch me.
with his fucking shield.
Yeah. Until then, catch me in
Yeah.
Mordhau. Join
If
the
you-
Discord to get
if you-
dumpstered on.
If you think you can beat Blake in Guilty Gear, comment in. I want to see you in the comment section. Let him know he's trash.
Yep,
Send
he'll
your
give you
ad.
a fro.
I will dumpster you, and then I will secretly have my brother on the.
Just
Wow.
on the mic, the mental game.
I'll be on the
That's
mic. I'll be on the mic. Shit talking.
Wow,
you.
back to the esports cheating in esports video. Hate to see
Yeah.
it.
Well,
Check
thanks
the
for watching. Like, subscribe, check out the other videos, and we will see you soon.